I don't know what you think about this one, man, but this is to me like almost next level. It's very nuanced.
It
Um,
really is. It
yeah,
really is, man. Like, where do you start with this performance? I mean, firstly, you start with the fact that he played two different characters in this film,
yeah,
right? Like, he has the James character, and then he has Sundaram character, and he seamlessly transitions between them the first time, right? Like, he
yes,
just gets out of the bus, walks in, and he's completely a new man. It's not like something happened to create that. He
no,
just seamlessly transitions into this role, almost as if he's been that person for
yeah,
all of his life, right? It is so beautifully done. The fact that he can play this everyday guy, right? Like, it just, as you were saying, in Bhishma Parvam, he plays this kind of mob boss. In but Rorschach, he's this anti-hero seeking
yeah,
vengeance. Here, he just kind of like starts off the movie as a grouchy old man, right?
yeah, yeah,
Like, he's like doesn't really, not really having fun, but at the same time he's one of the boys because he's like having a chat with them while
yes,
they're under a tree having a respite on their journey back from Tamil Nadu to Kerala, and he's having a laugh with them. But then he's complaining about the Tamil food that he's eating, and he's just like a very ordinary person, someone who
yeah,
I would expect to be an ordinary 71-year-old person from Kerala, I guess.
uh-huh,
And then he transitions into this other person, this full-blown Tamilian speaking Tamil as well.
yeah.
Like,
It's incredible.
and look, I don't even know if that's a common thing because they're neighboring states. Obviously, do people in Kerala just speak Tamil and vice versa?
Mm,
Is that a common skill set, or is he just a prolific actor who has is mastered
yes,
that for this role? Like, again, but seamlessly steps into this role of a Tamilian rural person ingrained in this small community and just does it so effortlessly, man. Like, there are it is just a seamless performance, and there's not a moment that I saw Mammootty in this. He was James and Sundaram for me.
yes, yeah, man. It's yeah, the language question is interesting. I want to talk about that point a little later, but it is impressive that yeah, he can sort of transition like
Yes.
he did in this movie, and some of the scenes in this like so powerful, and they're so powerful. Honestly, almost just on the back of him. Like
Yes.
it's almost it took some of the scenes took my breath away. Like there were scenes like I think when he's one that really captured my what's it called, when I was watching this movie was basically that time when he was being confronted by everybody and he just lays
Yes.
down on the ground, you know?
Yes.
I was
He's
like,
like, this is my land. This is where I
yes,
belong. And it's so impactful.
so powerful. Oh man, it's just I don't know how you're not moved by something
And
like
the
that.
remarkable thing is, you've been with that Sundaram character for like 15
Yeah,
minutes and you still
correct.
are entirely bought
Yeah,
into that. You're like, okay, he is 100%
yeah,
Sundaram, and this
yeah,
is his life that he's living.
yeah, man. It's yeah, his performance in this has some really really strong moments. The other one that really got me was the I think maybe the climax scene when he sort
Yes.
of really breaks down and you
Yes.
realize what he's
Wanted
gone
to.
through. And my
Yes.
God, that scene.
That
Oof.
that last half an hour and that scene in particular is just a masterclass in acting for
Yeah.
me, man. Like, the way the world is slowly crumbling around this character of Sundaram, right? The people don't recognize him, and he realizes people aren't talking to him as they usually would. The people aren't buying his milk as they usually would.
Yes.
He drives past the temple, and he's like, this temple wasn't here yesterday, because in his mind, the 2 years that this Sundaram character has been missing never happened. And he doesn't recognize this country anymore, this land anymore. And his barber has passed away. And you see his
Yeah.
world just slowly crumbling. And then he goes back to his house, the Sundaram, and he starts eating and he starts crying. And he's like, why
Oh,
isn't my daughter here? It like breaks your heart, man. The
yeah, man.
suffering that he's feeling at that point, like, you feel it. I felt such sadness for him.
Yeah, man.
And at that moment, I was like, I'm okay if he remains a Sundaram. Don't worry about James.
Yeah.
Even though he's got a wife and child waiting for him, I'm like, the sadness of that scene was so well portrayed and felt so real. I'm like, no, this guy believes he's Sundaram. Let him live his life with his
Yeah.
family, his mum and dad, and his daughter and wife. Like, that's how powerful it was for me. His ability to evoke empathy and pity, just done so flawlessly, man. That scene took my breath away.
No, that was really, really powerful. And the way you put it was, yeah, exactly how I felt as well. It
Yeah,
was, I mean, a lot of credit has to go to just this writing and to the build up of sort of making you empathize for him
brilliant.
throughout the whole movie. But it's
Yes,
in that moment when you're there, like, you got to remember, he's not a character, he's an actor performing this. And
yes,
it's,
that's right.
at times you just forget that. You're like, wait, this is so real and so raw.
Yes,
Did he actually go through this? Like,
it feels
it's
real.
it felt so real and so well done. And one other point, like unlike his other roles that he's done, and even like most roles, you're playing somewhat of a character. Like you're in Rorschach, he's almost like a character actor. Like he's going
Yes,
through some crazy thing. In
yes,
Bisham Parvam, he's a gangster. Like he can
crime
play
boss. Like, yeah,
he can play that up. But in this, he's just a regular, normal,
that's it.
day to
That's
day
it.
man. And to make a character like that so powerful,
Yes.
he's not a cop. He's not a superhero. He's
No,
not
that's right. He's not doing
nobody.
anything remarkable. He's just
Yeah,
living his ordinary life,
yeah,
and yet to leave such an impact in such a short amount of time. And that is why some of my favorite parts of this film, not as impactful as the scene we were just talking about, like when he's under the tree talking to his friends and they're all having a laugh. He just feels like an ordinary man.
yeah,
When he's Sundaram and he's getting coffee and telling people this random story about bartering for goods or whatever, he just feels like an ordinary person that
yeah,
could very well live in a rural village in Tamil Nadu. Now, I've never been to a rural village in Tamil Nadu, but I can feel like this is a real person. It just
yeah,
he must be, as an actor, a man who's very empathetic and very observant about the world,
yeah,
because he can just go all extremes, like as a violent anti-hero to just
hmm
an ordinary man going about his day-to-day life, as
yeah,
he is in parts of this film.
yeah. It really is. I mean, we'll probably transition a little bit to sort of this movie's look and visual feel,
Yeah.
um, which was amazing. But just in relation to that, like he is very much part of that. Like when you sort of mentioned that, the parts early on when they're sort of making the pilgrimage and he's having the
Yes.
camel food, he
Yes.
honestly feels like a like uncle I would have known like growing up on these trips, just complaining about
Yeah,
everything.
true.
you
That's
know,
100% true. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Very much, and even with the scenes with the when he's with the boys,
Yeah, yeah,
having the
yeah.
drinks and stuff. It just
Classic.
it
Feels
felt
real.
real, and yeah, he just seamlessly blends into that and almost
Yes.
carries it.
That's right.
Walken is like, yeah, this character is really, really authentic and real. And yeah, I'm not grown up in India, but I've done many trips
Yes.
growing up, lived in there for a bit as well. And yeah, that side of things definitely felt real. Like, going to the bus stops, having to see the driver getting
Yes.
angry that, he paid for his own fish and all that stuff. Um,
It all feels like the concerns of an ordinary person just
yeah,
trying to live their life. Yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, man, but getting on to like, obviously, this movie looks completely
Gorgeous.
different. And
Yep.
we've got to give a lot of credit to the director here. Lilo Jose Lilo Jose Pellissery. I don't think it's Jose.